Hi, and welcome back to the Study in a Phase Daily With series. Today's video is for GRE students. If you're preparing for the GRE, you've probably done a whole lot of sentence equivalence questions in the verbal section. You will probably agree that sentence equivalence is that one question that takes up the least time in GRE verbals. However, today we'll be talking about an even faster, actually the fastest possible way of solving this question. As you know, the two correct answers in sentence equivalence are words that are either perfect synonyms or very closely related. Any answer choice that does not have a paired word, a word that is closely related to it, or a word that is an exact synonym is an outlier. Outliers can never possibly be the answers of GRE questions. So today we'll be looking at a method whereby first we look at the answer choices, not the sentence, but the answer choices, and how many outliers we can eliminate. This is an official question taken from the GRE OG. As I said earlier, we'll first look only at the answer choices. Ironic, which means unexpected, is an outlier because there is no other word among the answer choices that is even close in meaning. Banal and insipid are not perfect synonyms, but they're very closely related because banal means very commonplace and uninteresting. Insipid means uninteresting too, so that is a pair. Provocative is also an outlier. Provocative means provoking emotion or action, and it has no word among the remaining answer choices that are remotely similar to it. Witty is also an outlier. Witty means humorous. No other word among the remaining answer choices is remotely close to it. Stimulating means exciting or provoking excitement. Again, this is an outlier because no other words are similar to it among the answer choices. Thus, there is only one pair of words that is close in meaning to each other. And without reading the sentence at top, you can rest assured that these two are the best answers for this particular question. However, let's check to see if they fit into the blank in the context of the sentence provided. Now let's look at the sentence. It has two triggers. Turned X into Y is a trigger that basically joins two words of opposing connotations, two words that are different to each other. It embodies a transformation from something to something that is totally different. The main clue here is fascinating. The blank must be opposing to fascinating because of these triggers, turned and into. Both banal and insipid, which means unexciting or commonplace, are completely opposite to fascinating, and thus it is confirmed that these two words are the best answers to this question. Now, let's look at another official question. As with the previous question, let's look at the answer choices. There is one pair of words that is immediately apparent because these two words are quite similar in meaning. Significant means important. Considerable denotes scale, particularly a large scale. Both are often used interchangeably. So that's one pair of words identified. We will not eliminate these, we will keep these. However, A, incongruous, which means not matching its environment, is an outlier because none of the rest of the words are even close to incongruous in meaning. B. Reasonable, which means logical or rational, is also an outlier. E. Equitable, which means distributed fairly, again has no word that is close in meaning to it. So, it is also an outlier and can be eliminated immediately. Fortuitous, which means opportune or lucky, to put it simply, is also an outlier and thus it can be eliminated too. Now let's check if significant and considerable actually match with the context of the sentence. Now let's read this long sentence together. Modern agricultural practices have been extremely successful, increasing the productivity of major food crops. Yet, despite heavy use of pesticides, blank losses to diseases and insect pests are sustained each year. The main trigger here is the word despite. Despite is a contrary trigger. It always joins two opposing connotations, a positive connotation to a negative connotation. Here it is joining heavy use of pesticides to blank losses to disease and insect pests. Heavy use of pesticides is actually a positive. When you use a lot of pesticides, you would expect very few losses to disease and insect pests. But here, because despite has been used, we expect the opposite. That means big losses, and thus considerable and significant both make sense in the blank. Now, let's look at a third question. In this question, we will be using the strategy we've just learned along with connotation. Remember, connotation is the positive or negative tone portrayed by a word. Now first, as we've learnt, let's look at the answer choices. Impair and compromise, both of which mean affect negatively, are very closely related words and thus a pair. Resist, which is a simple word, does not have any word among the others which it is closely related to, and thus it too is an outlier. And thus it is an outlier. Improve and enhance are also a pair, both of which mean affect positively. Restore is another outlier. It's an outlier because none of the words in the answer choices are close to restore. So now we have one pair of words, impair and compromise, which are negative in connotation, and one pair of words, improve and enhance, which are positive in connotation. To solve this question, all we need to do is read the sentence and decide whether the blank is positive or negative in connotation. Now let's read the sentence. Retrofitted with stabilizing devices, some of which blanked its aesthetics. The bridge has been reopened, no longer prone to excessive swaying, but not quite the breathtaking structure it originally was. The main trigger here is but. But is used with a negative, which means the contrary effect of but has now been cancelled out. The main clue is breathtaking. Breathtaking means very beautiful or awesome or provoking awe. Because the clue is not quite gives breathtaking a negative connotation. Thus, we can eliminate the pair of positive words. And now, impair and compromise are the best answers for this question. Thanks for watching this video. We'll be back soon with more GRE verbal and math videos in the Study Unifees Daily With series. If you want help with your GRE prep or anything related to study abroad, contact Uniphase at studyuniphase.io. Till then, all the best.